Hello, everybody, and welcome to From This Point Forward, a comedy Buffalo Sabres podcast. I'm Louis G, here with Chris Plumer and Ryan Mura. We have a lot to talk about. We have some hot takes from the last episode to address. We're probably going to a couple more. We have comedian Shaun Murphy with us, going to join us here for a little bit. So we got a lot here to talk about. Sabres on the warpath. Let's go.
Let's acknowledge the fact that in one of your favorite movies of all time, you thought the slogan was "Ducks quack forever" instead of "Ducks fly together."
No, it's you also think they live in wells. It's the whole theme of the movie, Lou. But he had the duck call.
They go quack.
It would be Malcolm Subban, mostly because that one season where instead of letting him play for the Sabres for the last game of the year, they had him sing the national anthem. And it was a real, like, you're under contract. The season is over. We know you've only gotten to be up here a couple of times. How about you come back up here? Oh, great. I'll put my pads in the car. No. You won't need them. Just make sure you warm up the pipes when you're driving down the 90.
Mitch Marner.
You heard it, Mitch. If you want to sign here, you can drill Ryan's mom.
What is going on? Chris, Ryan, we've got two. I mean, the beginning of the year, it was like 2 weeks between the podcasts where were very, very much needed. And we would go in saying, how do we say this team sucks any differently than what we have for the first couple months? But here we are on a roll. Sabres on a warpath. The streak finally ended while we were gone, but good play has continued. Chris, thoughts on the last couple of weeks?
Pleasantly surprising. Now it almost feels like 2 weeks is too long in between shows because there have been so many different ways that they were good in that time. Outside of the Columbus game, it was a little bit of an aberration. Overall, team play has been good. Although yesterday I was my one critique so far is what we're doing with Östlund and bringing Dunn back for no reason. They have a very mediocre fight.
I have a feeling we'll be talking a lot more about Östlund at some point today. Rye, just quick thoughts about where we've ended up here in the last couple of weeks.
Well, what I wanted to see happen has come to fruition, and they're doing things that I think are repeatable for success. You know, you're not running into those stretches where it looks like they're forgetting how to play hockey. And we've seen so many years like that in the past. They just look like they have it together. Four lines are rolling. I know they didn't have the best showing against Florida, but, you know, still we're, in the game for most of it. And, don't you like their chances to come back tomorrow at home against an inferior Philly team? It just feels like this group has started to get it together. There's a belief in the room, and I'm having a lot of fun watching the games. It's cool when you're looking at the schedule again, like you used to, and you're like, oh, when's the next game? I'm happy that we have basically a game every night. Seemingly this week is packed. So I'm ready for it. I'm very happy right now.
So before we get started here and bringing our guest and talk here about the Sabres and what this last couple of weeks looks like and a few different things coming up on the schedule, I feel like I need to address something. And on this last episode, I had said that I thought the Sabres needed to do a 3-for-1 trade and get a star. And I presented something. Now, listen, it takes a grown man to admit when he's wrong. And that's why I'm not going to do it. I am not going to fully admit that I was wrong. Now, I said Ostlund, Quinn, and a first. This is where I went wrong. I said for Brian Rust. And I think maybe I was thinking 5 years ago, Brian Rust. Maybe I was just caught up in the type of player is. This team needs, I will say one thing that last night showed is this team needs still physicality. Yesterday was like the first like real kind of like where they got everything that a team had against them, and it was a team that knows how to win playoff games, and I feel like they didn't have that aspect that they needed yesterday. Again, I don't think Brian Rust is that answer. I will say that I was wrong there. But the thing with Ostlund is insane that people are just like the guy. I mean, for whatever, we all hate it, right? We're going to talk about this here. We all hate that he wasn't in the lineup yesterday, but we are talking about a guy that cannot crack this top 9 right now, and people just get like it's like Kyle Williams with the Bills and all these like local guys when it just a certain person with this with Buffalo fandom, they just want to root for these guys. They never want to give up the youth to go get something real. I think Ostlund's going to be the real deal, but you can't just hang on to all these guys if you really want to make a stand. So I don't think that the package I threw out was insane. Maybe the package coming back in is where I was wrong. Go on. I know, Chris, you have thoughts, and I'm going to give you these thoughts, but I do want there's some. Go on.
I want to know why you went so sideways in that horrible admission to you being wrong, and talk about maybe I'm missing because we didn't get to read the comments, and you're talking about the Ostlund thing. I don't think that's why people weren't upset that he wasn't in the lineup last night. I think it's probably why Ryan might be upset about it is Peyton Krebs was on the first line, and a guy that has like what seems to be upper level ice vision was sitting out in the press box.
It is crazy. And again, I want to clarify again. I love Ostlund. I really do. It's just you can't find to find the 3 guys right now, because that's what I keep on saying that this what this team needs. It needs like a 3 younger player for 1 big star, and find those 3 guys. Like
why? Wait, hold on. Why does that? Why do we think this team needs a 3-for-1 trade right now? We've won 12. We won 11 and 10 in a row.
Listen, go ahead.
Just hold on. There's a lot of time until the trade deadline. Okay. I'm not in any rush to start, swapping pieces, out right now, because I'm comfortable with the way these guys are gelling. And honestly, I'm not even really upset about Ostlund being out of the lineup for 1 game. Sometimes you have to sit a guy down and it's all part of the process. He's a young guy. I'm just, trust the process, right? Let's stay the course a little bit here. I'm not ready to just start shipping guys off. Like, come on. It's like we're jumping into Madden here. Like, come on.
No, this is the year. I mean, you're breaking 14 years. Like, you got to make the move. I'm not saying that you have to go win the Stanley Cup, obviously, but if you have any kind of like, we're going to play real meaningful games. Mark Bergevin, the GM, and we'll talk about him a little bit, that we bring in, is talking today about how it's obvious, even through this, that there are pieces that need to be added to this. But you guys share the sentiment of many people that watched that video. Okay, so I'm just going to share some of the comments on the video.
The sentiment was about Brian Rust. It wasn't about the other 3. Give us another name, you coward.
I wouldn't trade Ostlund straight for Russ. next comment. That dude is insane. Next one. Dude with the glasses does not need podcast equipment. Got 45 likes on that comment alone. Let's get rid of Oslin. A player will be the farthest one down the ice and somehow beat every single player back-to-back check. That's not a player you get rid of. Quinn, I can see. But why would you get rid of Oslin? Someone take Bubbles' microphone away. Like that one. That one's pretty good. Let's see. Star and Brian Russ have never been said in the same sentence. Maybe. This right here shows that podcast equipment is way too cheap. Someone asked, is this a comedy podcast? I was like, yeah, it 100% is. Thank you for joining. Thank you for getting there. There are some other good ones. I have to get dumbest. Do not trade Oslin. Dumbest thing I ever heard. Brian Russ. Ha 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 ha. This dude is a Penguins operative. Goggles is a Penguins operative, is what it says. Has he ever watched hockey? Yikes! What a terrible take. Yeah, but this has to be satire. Let's see some of the mean ones. Drug test that man. This dude needs to never talk hockey again. What does he see? What does he see through those magnifying glasses on his face? Absolute moron. People are mean.
Instead of doing affirmations in the morning, Louis going to post these on his mirror, and he's just going to read these to himself before he goes out for the day.
All right. Well, we got someone else here in the backstage area that might have some thoughts on this whole situation. He's also going to join us, talk about his comedy special he's got coming out. But right now he's here to talk Sabres. Let's bring in Shaun Murphy, comedian Shaun Murphy. How are you, Shaun?
Good. Nice to be here. The answer is Tuck.
Okay, so we've had this argument numerous times here, and I'll throw it at you so you can come here.
The Sabres have $4 left on the salary cap.
Yeah, they're way tighter on the cap than anybody. Everybody's like, oh, they don't ever spend the cap. Well, guess what? They're really tight to the cap. That does expand as you get close to the deadline. They'll be fine to go get whatever they want. But the Tuck thing is fine because you need money next year for Benson and Doan, and yes. I get all that, and I want. Yes. I'm not saying especially after watching him yesterday. I mean, he just disappears for games sometimes. I'm starting to lean more with the sentiment and not paying him. But where I keep on coming back to is this guy is a guy that you would normally go acquire when you are a team like the Sabres as a rental because you want a playoff player like Alex Tuck will probably be. This is a guy that you would you're not going to have a hockey trade for him right now. No one's going to acquire him knowing that he's a rental and give you a player back that is going to help this team. And you can't just give up on what this season is. And that's my biggest comeback with the Tuck thing. Now, if you can move them for assets and then flip those assets for a player that helps, fine.
Player like Brian Rust?
Perhaps. A player like Brian Rust, maybe.
One for one. Do you do it, Lou?
No, because I think Rust has like two more at like $7 million. Like that's annoying. Like his contract is so dumb. Sometimes
at a certain point, you just now that they're good, right? They're good. Nothing will ever be bad again. You need to trade. You need just people off the team. Like you have too many. When everyone's healthy, there's way too many spots.
That's exactly what I'm saying with my 3-for-1 deal.
You guys were talking about Austin. I mean, you can't crack the lineup. You need to get rid of probably Quinn. I mean, you have like 7 fourth line players on this team. Like you got to get rid of some of them at some point when they're healthy.
I think that's the biggest point because, okay, let's get back on the fact that Oslin should belong on this team because I'm with you guys. I love him. And
I'll go a step further. I think Rosen should be playing. I think he's probably better than Quinn.
I like Rosen a lot too. Quinn, but I do like that this now, like this new regime, and they added another guy today here, and we'll talk about that. Like, I do like that this new regime does not have like the the tie to these guys. Like Quinn is really, he had that nice little 5-game stretch, maybe right at the start or end, maybe of right before I think it was the winning streak, where he looked really good and was playing hard, but he is like, give me Rosen, give me Oslin on that line all day. Krebs, like, I'm sorry. And I got in an argument with somebody about this too, to where they couldn't move Krebs because now they're winning 13 out of 14 games. Krebs is on the first line for most of it. It's like you can't forget not being able to disturb that
go
number
around
one
the
line.
room. What's your ideal fourth line? We got 15 fourth line players. Who do you want on your fourth line?
No, the fourth line that they have right now is I think the some form of Greenway, Krebs.
You want
Dunn.
Greenway making $3 million on your fourth line?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's where he's been, and he, honestly, that's where his spot is. That's like, I mean, that's really the best.
$4 million.
It's the best he's looked since he came here. I don't care if you could ship him off for nothing, but you need. I don't want to say you need, but Lindy definitely wants a fourth line that's going out there, and they've been great in this whole winning streak. That fourth line's just going out there. They're controlling the puck. I'm not shitting on anything going on in the fourth line. I would
you don't want a Kozak out there. What about Danforth? The whole summer you were texting me about Danforth.
Well, he's still hurt. We'll have to worry about when he comes back in, and when he's healthy. But yeah, there's all these guys that fit that fourth line role, and they don't need to be the guys I'm concerned about. I do think you need someone to jump in on that first line that's not Benson. And I'm not saying that Benson doesn't belong there. I just think that the second and third lines are so much better when you have them constructed the way it was. So it was just like, I'm not even punishing Krebs, but it's like, he doesn't belong on the top line. You can't really mess with the other two lines. So what does that look like? And you don't really have a great answer unless you're playing Oslin or Tage on the wing. Because of Norris isn't going to play on the wing. McLeod's not playing on the wing. So you really have to make a decision on Thompson or Oslin playing the wing, or else one of them's Oslin's your fourth line center then. And that
I have the solution. I think you should just put Krebs in charge of the ice crew that just gets the snow off the ice in between every 5 minutes. That's all he needs to do. I can't stand. Why does this guy still have a spot on the team? And I understand he had one good game where he had the nice pass to Thompson in front of the net, the 2-assist game. Other than that, I don't get it. I can't.
Well, I think he's your ideal fourth line player. I mean, the problem is he was traded in the big package. He was drafted in the first round. But if his name was Malenstein, you'd be like, yeah, it's fine. He makes $1 million. He's good on the penalty kill. Like, that's what you want in your fourth line. He has energy. People like him. Like,
he is always on the ice. He falls every time. Like, he's just always getting knocked over. That's
another thing.
But he's making snow angels. People love snow angels. That's for the kids. You need a little bit of that in your team. You need some,
You can't take that away from him, though. He is another great penalty killer. So, he's fine.
I can take everything away from him if I want. I don't.
So who's your fourth line? Listen. Louis doesn't want to talk about the fourth line. That's all I want to talk about. Only the fourth line. I think. I mean, you got to get some people out of here on the fourth line, in addition to getting maybe someone in the top 9. But there's too many bodies at a certain point.
If I were in charge, I would handle it just like I do running video games, and I would have all the kids on the fourth line. I want all the young kids. I want another scoring line on the fourth line. Listen, we're not playing in the 90s anymore in the NHL, or the dead puck era. I don't need physicality. I just want 4 lines that can score goals. So yeah, they're playing well right now. I'll give it to them. Malenstein, he's running around out there for the one shift that he's taken, second round pick. Thank you very much. But no, just give me the kids. Put Roseanne out there. Give me Roseanne. I'll give you an answer, Shaun. I want Roseanne, Quinn, and Kulik when he's healthy.
Kulik might be dead. We don't even know. We haven't even seen him. No one's seen or heard from Kulik. He might have died. Let's just say that it's at least possible. Chris, this is the dumbest question ever. Now that Shaun, I guess Shaun is
the dumbest question.
Shaun,
I'm trying to include your co-host over here. You're babbling about
bring my friend in to help promote his dumb comedy show, and he's hosting my show now. He's just taking over. It's going to be In the Hunt, a Sabres podcast.
Fourth line is important. They win series. You need a hot fourth line.
Yeah, you do, and you need one to be physical, and both of you are not seeing that. Chris,
that's not true. I'm seeing that. I like their fourth line. Just trade
not going to talk some sense. I'm fine with Greenway leaving.
Thank you.
Give me Kozak in the middle, Krebs on the wing, Malenstein on the other side.
Now we're talking.
Rotate in Dunn as a heavy on certain games.
Perfect.
You're playing 11 minutes a night. I don't care.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. You should host over Louis.
I'm gonna push back on all of you assholes. I'm gonna, especially Ryan, like the point that you don't need physical. I just
Oh my gosh.
think that 8 to 9 minutes of them just controlling the puck every time that they are on the ice, the puck is behind the opposition's net. They're hitting.
Where I want the net. I actually want the puck not behind the opposition's net. I want it in the net. So let's figure out ways to do that.
No, that wears on a team. I don't care what you say. I love it. Like that's the one area that I don't even want to talk about. Like I think the fourth line is fine, but we finally found Jordan Greenway a role on this team, and you guys want to boot him. It's the best he's looked since we brought him in.
He hasn't looked very good on it though.
To be fair, it's only because he's played 10 consecutive games for the first time, I think, since he's been here. I don't think he's stayed healthy for this long, but whatever.
Remember when he had that really awesome one-handed like breakaway goal? That was pretty sweet.
Yes.
Lou, we throw Tuck on the fourth line. We bring in Brian Rust to be our top line right wing. Do you do it? I can get rid of Greenway and Krebs for Brian Rust.
Well, that's much different than my offer. So for that, I will take him. I don't think that.
I do think I think Ryan was alluding this while I was waiting in the wings. I don't know if it's Lindy or just the organization where it's like, some of these young people, they played enough that like give them a shot. Like they're just like Oslin should be in there. He should be rotating with like Quinn or just like that should be a no-brainer. Like some of these players, like even Rosen for like I just don't understand what the deal. I don't understand why Krebs was on the first line for so often. I don't understand why Austin seems to be in the doghouse. Like you have these metrics that like they're doing well.
I think, but that's what I think. That's what I think it is when it comes to why they didn't, is that they were doing well, and Krebs just happened to be on that first line role, so they didn't want to mess. I just think it goes back to them not wanting to mess up the second and third lines. Not so much that they didn't think that Krebs was. I don't think that anybody thought Krebs was the best fit.
Yeah, but you just dump Krebs down to the fourth and put Oslin in the first. Like it's easy. Everyone's been yelling about it. It's the easiest change in the world.
I think that's probably the move that I would like to see. And again, I want a spot for Rosen on this team too. And that's again where you're like logjam, because you need, to me, and I just know how Lindy's going to go. He's going to want a fourth line physical. So that whatever, like Shaun said, we have 6 of those guys. So just pick whatever 3 of those guys are going to be there, but they're going to be physical. They're going to be out there controlling puck. That's going to be their role. So now when you talk about the other 3 lines being your scoring lines, there's already an odd man out with Oslin, but I think Quinn is very much working his way into that role and to being a healthy scratch in the very near future. I really wouldn't be shocked to see that.
What about this idea? Trade for another goalie. You carry 4 goalies. Galaxy brain thinking.
That's it. Get another one going. Chris, I stole all of your attention.
Sidetracked.
Yeah, I got sidetracked
because you were fighting with nobody about trading Noah Oslin for Brian Rust.
Exactly.
You were fighting with yourself from 2 weeks ago.
So I made a statement. I heard you have said that you have a statement to make as well. So give you that.
It's more of a deposition. I need your statement on this. So we all know last episode you were wined and dined by the Sabres ticket people. You spilled the beans about the podcast. Now, I don't know if they listened or not. I'm just trying to connect some dots here. Friend of the pod, my wife Irene, joined me Saturday night for the Sabres Ducks game, and we went to the Odd Club and a home sellout. All hands on deck. There was a certain employee not behind the bar at the Odd Club who you mentioned on several episodes gives you free drinks all the time. Did you get Betty fired?
I may have. and I'm not even joking. So this is probably something, but I don't think I did. But I did get a text about needing to meet for lunch because she will not be at the arena anytime soon.
Interesting. Are you going to return that text? And are we going to find out?
I did offer lunch, but I don't think I mentioned that. I was wondering if I did. I don't think I mentioned that. I think you just mentioned that. I think I just mentioned Black Betty being great. And
no, you definitely talked about how you'd spend $20 for like an entire season.
Yeah, well, you know what? Fuck them, because he did. This is really. This would be really great if it all just came back to fruition, because he did reach back out and say that there was nothing he could do for me this Thursday, which he was like saying that he was going to. So very much be. I might be officially blacklisted from the Sabres organization and building, and you know what? That's fine, because I will save a lot of money and I will absolutely do the Bobby Valentine with the fake glasses and nose, and I will go in there under disguise and still watch a game. I would not suggest. I know you often ask me to go to a game when you have available tickets. I would probably suggest not bringing me into the arena with your seasons anytime soon. That's all I think. I think I may have, but you know what? I'm going to call Matthew Fairburn and I'm going to get another article written, and that's really going to burn him down. I'm going to really ride into that dead dad shit this time. Okay. Really make him feel bad. That's
so you ruined a woman's life. Okay.
Well,
proud of you, Lou.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we'll all be okay. We're all going to make it. Yeah, so let's straight from that and go to they did bring in more experience today. Look at us, real organization, bringing in Stacey Roast, another assistant GM, and with the Lightning, I believe it was. So like just all these guys coming in. It's almost baffling that they have not made any changes to the coaching staff, especially with how bad the power play has gone. I'm not saying Lindy, like you can't fire Lindy the way things have been going, but like we still aren't sure that this is Lindy's staff like that he wanted. This new organization, this whole new team comes in, and this power play is just getting worse and worse and worse, and still no moves. I really loved, I don't know if you guys listened to Mark Bergevin's comments today, but he was like very, very like, yeah, I've only watched them like 5 times. So it's pretty odd. And I know they're hot right now. Like he's saying they as like he's not an employee right now. I know they're hot right now. He goes, but it's obvious that there still needs a lot of improvement. And I was like, man, that's kind of harsh, dude. You're new here. What are you going to say next? We should be trading for Brian Russ, loser. Thoughts on any possible coaching changes coming with the power play going, and what's the fix there? Because I do think it's a trade for a power play specialist. You have someone specific in mind. I'll start with you, Ryan.
Yeah, you know, as I've mentioned before, I feel like the key piece is to go and get Connor McDavid. So if we could make that happen, let's do it. I don't know. A power play coach. I just, it's so funny to me. Like, what's this guy's name? Stacey. What Stacey Roast? Stacey Roast. Yes. Roast. It's just so Buffalo for us to like. I've never heard of this guy before, and then he gets here. I'm like, yeah, honestly, great move. Big fan. Love that we brought him in. I get it. He's got a nice resume, and that's good. I just like that we look to be more of a serious organization, spending money in the hockey department, you know, those types of things. I don't have an answer for the power play. I just feel like it can be puck luck. You know, the system, you know, they have a quarterback. They have, you know, a lot of guys that can do really well. Just, you know, Darlene up at the top distributing. I don't know why it hasn't come together. So if that is really not a good answer, but that's me just throwing my hands up. I don't have one.
Chris, any thoughts on an answer?
I I don't know who they would bring in, but I do know after in the post game yesterday, that was like the first thing that Lindy Ruff really talked about when they were saying, kind of asking him what went wrong in the game. The first thing he went to was the missed opportunities on the power play. It felt like he's kind of in that boat too of like, maybe it's time for a change in this. I don't know what his relationship with Appert is. I don't know if he has somebody in mind. But it feels like that is kind of getting to the front and center now. And I will say the past couple of games where the power play has really struggled, when you were talking about, having Dahlin quarterback, he hasn't looked bad, but he hasn't looked like himself the past few games. And, it's still a very good player, but it's not, something's off.
I feel like it's been the whole season. And again, I know he's got the thing going on with his fiance, and like, I don't want to, to make light of that or not, feel what that could mean to him and what that's doing to him mentally. But he hasn't been real. I mean, a couple games where where you're like, oh, that's the Dahlin that I know. I mean, for the most part, he has not looked, again, great, a good player. He's looked like a very good player all year. He hasn't had many dud games where you're like, oh shit, he was horrible this game, but he has not taken over a game where he has that a little bit. I like the idea of Panarin. I don't know what that looks like with him being on an expiring contract. And are they really going to be in those type of moves? Are they going to be looking for a rental of that caliber? The only reason why I think Panarin might work and not just as a rental is because of his relationship with Jarmo from Columbus, that maybe he can get a read on the fact that he would stay for a short-term deal or sign a 1-year deal in the offseason or something. But I don't think money is going to be like flow. I don't think money is going to be available. I mean, they're really close up against the cap, and they're going to need to sign a couple extensions. So, but I like that idea. I just think Panarin's like the exact guy that this power play needs. And I don't know if they have that quarterback that you're saying that they have, right? Because I just don't think Dahlin has been very good in that role. I want to blame Appert. I mean, it hasn't been good in 3 years. They've had the same core of those 4 or 5 guys. I know Doan has helped, has joined this year. Norris now on that first line, but that first power play line has been talented for the last 3 years, and it's been garbage. So let's blame Appert first, get him out of here, and then go from there. But Panarin is a guy that I think makes a little bit of sense. I'm afraid to throw together a trade package for him. I won't say anything out loud, but I think that would be a move I'd be interested in. Shaun, any thoughts on the power play woes and anybody that would fix it?
It's tough because I don't watch the Sabres being so bad. I don't watch a ton of NHL. Like, people say names, I'm like, oh, is that a person? Because I'm just so checked out because it's sad watching hockey. You know who interests me though? I've seen some trade murmurings of that Robert Thomas from St. Louis. Now, if you could kind of put if you have to trade Tuck to someone else, you get. This is spitballing. Maybe you get a first and a second back, and then you're able to go to St. Louis, and you're like, hey, take 2 firsts, a second, Quinn, Levi, Rosen, see if you could throw a bunch of shit at him.
Look at that. I like it. Look at Ryan, right? Ryan, you said the bad word for Ryan. Levi is like, he still thinks Levi is going to be Hasek.
No, I mean, maybe he is, but I mean, he's been terrible this year in Rochester, but you still got to give up something of quality, and just give up a bunch of your young players, a bunch of draft picks, and see if you could get someone who's this guy's under contract for $8 million and he's 26. He's that's kind of the person who you want. I like Tuck. I would keep him if he wants 10.5 or under, but other than that, like, you just physically can't do it. So like, you might as well get something from him and then try and get someone to replace him. You know,
I'm going. I've found myself back and forth so much on Tuck, and it's just like, again, especially I think especially where they're at right now, of like, this is a team that would, if Tuck wasn't on this team and they were playing exactly the way they were, and Tuck was a upcoming UFA on a different team, they would, like, we would be talking about, that's the type of player we want on this team. So you have them, you might lose them for nothing.
well, but it's the thing though, like, you just got to make this decisions, like, then get rid of Power. Like, you only have, you can only afford so many people. So like, what are you going to do? You're going to keep Doan and Benson like 100%. So, where do you fit everyone in?
We talk about Owen Power too much on this podcast, but now that you brought him up, I'm getting there. I'm starting to get there, and I know I'm the latest to the game, but I don't know.
I'm a Power defender.
I love him. I'm an apologist. I don't know if it's gonna get there for him. It's every game. He's giving the puck away horribly.
He unfortunately has almost what I will call like a Tua vibes, where like, you could win with Tua, but you can't win when you're giving him $50 million. And I think Power is a really good defenseman. I think you can use him, but like, what does he make? Like seven mil on a team that already has it's tough to go through the growing pains when you're ready to win now and you're giving him all that money.
Yeah. I'm getting closer to him, wanting him to be the one that's out. Byram's playing his way into, like, I don't even know if I want him in that conversation anymore. He's playing so good, but we've also seen him disappear for so long at times. And I'm like, do you get rid of him now while the iron's hot?
Intriguing development on that. He did not suffer any injury yesterday, and he was not a participant in the practice this morning.
Lindy did say it was for a personal reason.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, Lindy after said it was for a personal reason and he'll be back.
The personal reason is that the GM told him he's getting traded. So
they listened to this podcast and heard that he was giving away free drinks at the bar, so they had to talk to him. We talked about hiring a little bit. Here's one guy that we've made jokes about, but like, does anybody know if Eric Stahl still has a job in this organization? Like, he came in during the offseason to be the right-hand man, get his first job in a hockey organization with Kevin Adams. Have never seen him, haven't heard him speak, haven't seen anything that he's done. His Wikipedia doesn't show anything about even having the job. Kevin Adams gets fired. Is this guy still, if you had a bet, does he still have an office? Is he still showing up to work? Chris, what are your thoughts?
I think that they are saving him for 05-06 reunion night. He's still there in the office. He's still cashing checks. They're still paying him, and they're going to bring him out to center ice, and they're going to burn him in effigy as a sacrifice before the game.
It's like, I thought you were going to be like, they just put pads on him like Goldberg and then just starts slap shot, just a million slap shots at him. Rye, what are your thoughts? You think Eric Stahl still has an office?
Lou, have you ever seen the show Ozark? Because I think Eric Stahl is just a front for the Mexican cartel. They're just paying him. He doesn't really have a job. Pagula is eventually going to come out that he's connected to the cartel. So that's Eric Stahl.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It is funny to think about, like, the first time we'd see him all year, like they have him somehow involved in that. They couldn't, right? They couldn't. I think that's why they fired Adams. They just couldn't have Adams be part of the 05-06. Like,
they should bring him back for it. He would get a cheer right now. We would be like, it's okay.
He would get the cheer. Well, we talked about the 05-06 night here, so that's a good transition. Big night on Thursday. We got a game in between that here with Philly coming up on Wednesday, but the big reunion night. I'll be in the house.
Whoa, Louis will be in the house.
Don't tell anybody.
Wow.
We're not
and
sure.
Special guest, Luigi. And then you come out and everyone goes crazy.
Can I just complain for a second, Lou? Because we on this very podcast talked about, or I on this very podcast talked about how I was looking at tickets back in November, and I was like, you know what? I really want to go to this reunion night. The tickets were about $100 for 100 level seats, and I was like, I just don't want to be sitting on these tickets. So I waited. Now forget about it. You're looking double that to get in for 100 levels right now. So just like the stock market, you gotta strike when the iron's hot. I blew it. I should have gotten the tickets, and now I'm either going to pay for it or I'm going to sit at home and not be there. So stay tuned.
My buddy Jesse bought me tickets for my birthday. I'm like a few weeks ago. He texted me. He's like, I'm just gonna get these now, and I literally told him, hold off. I'm talking to the Sabres. I might be able to get something for free. And good thing I didn't make it. And good thing he didn't listen to me, and he just bought them because that has taken a turn. And I'm not even sure if they won't have security lined up like the Ralph last week waiting for me. So. But yeah, be there. Let's think of some fun ideas that they can do to honor the 056 team. I know we had something to kick around. Ryan, I know you were excited about one of your ideas that you had. What's your best idea to honor the 0506 team on Thursday?
I think the only real way that we can honor the 0506 reunion team properly is if we get, for one night only, Encore reopens. So Derek Roy can head on down Franklin Street. I think it was on Franklin Street. And take care of have one more night. One more night at Encore for Derek Roy. That would be so fitting.
I'm so glad you went with that because I did not want to have to take the hack route on my third shot, but I like that one, and I knew it had to be. That's the number one reason, or the number one way to honor them for sure. Funny story about them at Encore one time. This is at like after a practice. It was like a 5 o'clock on like a Friday. It wasn't like after a game, late night or anything. I was in there for happy hour with like nobody. There might've been like 5 people at the bar. Connolly walks in. Then Palmville walks in. Who else were they with? Who was the defenseman at the time?
Tolinder.
Montador, who might be Montador has passed away since. But the few guys walked in. Before they walked in, I said, or I asked for an Amstel Light, and they looked and they were like, yeah, we don't have any. We might have some in the basement, but I don't know. But we don't have any up here. And I was like, don't worry about it. Just give me like whatever. And 5 minutes later, Connolly comes in and orders 5 Amstel Lights. They just go right. I mean, they didn't even right to the basement, brought out the whole case. And I saw how different I am than the Buffalo Sabres that day. And you know what?
And also one in the same, because you guys both wanted Amstel Light. That's pretty cool.
That was it. And I did end up making a joke about it, and they did send me one down. So that's good. Chris, what's your favorite way to honor the 056 team on Thursday?
Well, I've been getting pretty deep into blood magic threads on Reddit, and I think what we need to do is we need to get Jay McKee's staph infected sock, we have to sacrifice one of the defensemen in order to appease the hockey gods. We need to close the loop that started in the 05-06 season, and we have to kill Zach Metza.
That's that was my number one thing. Was that, or I wasn't going with that. I didn't go with your exact way. I was going to say we should retire the shin guard, though, for sure. Jay McKee's shin guard goes up to the rafters. I thought would be a good way. Shaun, any ideas on how we could honor the 0506?
I was looking at things that happened in 2005. John Paul II died, so maybe we could get JD Vance to kill the new pope. He's already killed one. He's he has experience. He kills the new one. That because I think if we get an 05 vibe going, you know what I'm saying? We play biggest movie of 05. Say it with me, Lou. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Your favorite movie. We put a little bit of that up on the big screen, get people, get an 05 mood going on. Pope dies, Star Wars Episode 3. I think that rallies the players to get a little bit of that magic back.
I like that. I think the only other idea I had, and I don't know if you guys have any other one, I would love to see at some point an Elish Kodalik penalty shot. That's I think is the best way to honor
that was on my list as well.
Yeah,
I actually thought of that too. And my other part of this was that you have Robin Leonard, the worst shootout goalie in the history, go in net. It'd be so good to see it.
I swear to God, I thought about mentioning. I was like, oh, the connection's not there. But yes, he was the worst one. See if we could finally get Robin Leonard to be able to stop a penalty shot against Elish Kodalik. Yeah, that's great.
You know, it was one of the biggest songs of 2005, Mr. Brightside. Look at that. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. That song needs to be sacrificed as well, I think, along with part of this.
Okay, let me give you some other 2005 songs. You could, because if the Bills have, that killer song, maybe one of these songs could be the new Sabres anthem. We all know that their goal song sucks. What's their goal song right now?
Oh, it does.
It's Start My Heart.
Yeah, bad. Bad. So bad. No one likes that. Literally every other choice they had in that poll was better.
So much better.
Yeah,
every single
other
one.
Choice. Okay, what do you think about this? Tage Thompson scores big goal. It's the playoffs. Holla back, girl.
No, that would get the place going. Holla back, girl, dude. Are you kidding me?
Or even better, Since You've Been Gone.
Yes,
Since You've Been Gone is good because
good sing along.
It does feel like it's been a long time since the Sabres were good. So it does.
Kelly Clarkson, so underrated too. Love it. Great call.
We got some good bops in here. I think that's the way to do it. 2005 vibe in the arena. I think it propels us to a Stanley Cup and a Super Bowl same year.
A little look back here, and I know we've kind of bounced all back around, but I think you'll all agree. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy here, but for me, the day that the season became real was New Year's Eve when they beat the Dallas Stars. Like, I mean, that was a dominant game against a really good team in the midst of this, what was it, 5 games at that point, 6 games at that point? No, maybe even more. But the fact that they went there and really dominated that team, like, put this season on a different level for me. The Columbus game, like we've talked about plenty of times on this podcast, there hasn't been many duds this year as far as like just no effort. And I texted you guys that day. I'm like, oh man, the money line is like even. I was like, this is not going to be good. For whatever reason, they just have us putting up a stinker today, and it was that. But big thoughts of, I guess I just named the highs and lows, but a couple thoughts from the last couple weeks, Chris.
That Stars game definitely sticks out. I think big thoughts is we're kind of in a spot. I thought playing Ellis last night was kind of a bold choice in how Lindy feels about this team. I think if you're worried about them breaking down, you're saying we're sticking with Luke, and then he got the night off the other day. It's a busy week, but this next one we're trying to put another streak together. Going against a tough team like Florida, even though they're not up there in the standings right now, you know what you're getting out of them. They got sneaky players. I think that is outside of just the wins. I think that's the kind of move that a team that isn't self-conscious makes.
Yeah. Rye, thoughts just on the last couple weeks, big games, low points, anything that you remember that made an impact here?
Yeah, I think just somebody that continues to stand out, and we mentioned him a number of times already. It's Josh Doan. I mean, I could not be more impressed with the player, the all-around player that he is. Have no doubts about wanting to make sure he's here long term, and it sounds like he's interested in that just based on some of the comments he's made about feeling like he's been very welcomed here. He makes a huge difference, I feel like, every time he's on the ice, because he makes the smart play. He's always getting to the puck like a half second quicker, and I had no idea that trade was going to look as good as it did, for the reason it now looks so good. And it's that Doan is the big piece, and Kesselring, it's like, he's gravy at this point. So if he turns out, that's nice, but we already got our 1-for-1 piece with the Peterka trade. So that's been the biggest, pleasant surprise. And I'm thinking about, he might be my next jersey buy. Like I really like, he's just so much fun to watch, and I expect him to be here for a while.
Yeah, good news too on I was just going to make a note about like how it is just crazy that he almost felt like a throw-in on the Peterka trade, and is rivaling him, if not better. And then Kesselring back at practice today, so that might be. Lindy said after practice it's probably not tomorrow, but he's pretty close. So we'll see if he can stay in the lineup for a few days before hurting himself again. Shaun, any thoughts here just from the last couple of weeks that you'd like to share?
Two. One is just that it's nice to care about the Sabres. Usually what I do is I get too despondent, and around somewhere between late November and late January, I go, fuck this. I'm not even going to check the score anymore. And it's nice to be watching games and even looking up the standings of like rooting for Eastern Conference teams to lose, even though they never do. That's fun. And I can't, maybe because I'm a salary cap nerd, but I'm very interested to see what the new GM does at the deadline, because, if we resign Doan, Benson, and Kesselring, I mean, that's your cap for next year. Like that, and your couple AHL players, there's $20 million in cap. That's it. So if they do resign Tuck, which I would be fine with, you almost have to move someone. You don't necessarily, not by the end of the year, but certainly by the summer, you have to make some type of change to find that like 10 mil from somewhere. So there's going to be, if they resign Tuck, someone big is going to be leaving at least by the summer.
And as someone who has said a lot of dumb things on this podcast, I will say that one thing that I continuously say is like, all right, it feels like the strength of this team is defense. And so that's where you want to probably take a Power or Byram and shift it to a player coming back in the forward ranks. But because you're like, oh, that's where your strength is. And it is. The top 4 defensemen are really, really good hockey players. But you're also playing Zach Metza. So it's not like the depth is there either. So you trade Power or Byram right now. And you're even hurting your limited
That's
depth.
Scary because Kesselring conceivably could play top 4, but we haven't seen it yet this year because he's been hurt the whole year. So like if he can't, all of a sudden that's a huge liability.
My only follow up to that though is usually like depth defensemen are the easiest acquisition at the deadline. So if you were to move Byram in a big, I think I need to stop saying Byram because I really do think now it's Power. If it's a guy,
and you will get Timmins back at some point, so hopefully he's a reliable third pair.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we're talking about these guys here now. Now we're talking Kesselring and Timmins, and Dunn's out now with an injury that he got. They said he's just been fighting it. He didn't get it in the fight the other day. Said it was like a thing he's been dealing with, and supposedly it just has been bothering him too much. But I mean, he did get in a fight, so I wonder if that wasn't something that did with that. But so we get Flyers We have Canadians on Thursday for the 05-06 game. That game should be jumping. Minnesota matinee, return to the matinee. It's going to be an awesome one Buffalo day.
Big
Sabres
day
at 12:30 and Bills at 4:30. It should be incredible. Cool day. And then followed on a short road trip after that. Hurricanes, Predators, Canadians, Islanders, Maple Leafs. Not a short one. I just said short. That's 5-gamer there. To Sean's point, like it's just this whole Eastern Conference. You could be out of a playoff spot or within 6 points of first place. Yeah. They just keep playing these games and winning most of them, and hopefully, they're going to stay in this. Jeremy White said this the best the other day. Feel like, and he said it doesn't feel like, oh, we're back, as much as it feels like, oh, we're not going back to being shitty. So not like the excitement of like, oh, we're back, baby. It's like, no, that's done. And it does kind of feel that way. It does kind of feel very early Josh Allen-esque days with the Bills. That's like, I think this team finally turned the corner. And I do expect now, and again, Bean and McDermott, like, management coming in. So now like they got these guys coming in that make us feel credible in management. I really like where they're heading here. Really tough job for Yarmo to figure out how to round this out going the rest of the year, especially with the tuck piece looming. Yeah, and we got only a few weeks till Olympic break, and then we'll be coming back right to the trade deadline. So I thought you were going to say something. You were just coughing.
I'm excited to watch Olympics.
Olympics should be great, and I can't wait. Next episode, we should be getting a little bit more into that and previewing.
Also, I'm a long-time Kane hater, so now I get to watch the good old USA and root for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What did he bully you when he was here, Sean?
I mean, he bullied the whole city. I remember. I'm not going to forget. You can't be quiet for 5 years and all of a sudden you're a good guy. What are you, Mel Gibson? I remember what you've done.
He's an old man. He's an old man now. He's different. He's like 50, isn't he? He's gonna come home and buy another car dealership, and he's just gonna be here for the rest of his life with his Stanley Cup rings, showing up to games. We'll still have Eastern Conference championship.
It's funny we assume people change, but like there's no evidence. He just hasn't punched a cab driver. And we're like, hey, he's probably a good guy now. It's like, but is he? Do we have any indication that he's like? I haven't seen him do a good thing. I've seen him not do a bad thing. That's nice.
We need his Uber rating. That'll tell the story of what kind of man he is.
Yes.
Now.
That would be good PR for him. If I saw he gave a good Uber rating with good tips, I would start to soften a little bit.
Well, maybe I just like to see the good in people, Sean. Sean, before we leave and close out here, you have a YouTube special just out. And you want to tell us about it and where you can find it?
It's called Long Story Thin. It's on Mark Norman's YouTube page. It's a cool 42 minutes. You could click on it. You could watch it in between. You could watch it during the first and second intermission. Watch half first intermission. Watch another half second intermission. There, you'll probably finish it up. You won't miss a play, and check it out and follow me on Instagram. I am Shaun Murphy, Shaun with the U. Thanks for having me, boys.
Thank you so much for joining us. Chris, any last thoughts before we go into another 2 weeks, 7 games between now and the next podcast?
Yes. Watch Murph's special. Okay. It's great. I already watched it. Go. The comments are good for the most part. It is good. Final thoughts. Murph made a great suggestion. I'm all in on this 05-06 vibes.
Yes.
Play Star Wars. Play Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
Send Alex Tuck to invade Iraq. Let's go fully back to 2005. Let's do it all, baby.
Maybe Venezuela has weapons of mass destruction. We got to go in there and find them.
Exactly. I'm there. Let's do it. Send him.
Rye, you're on mute. Oh,
Yeah,
there
I was just gonna say, if we send anyone, can we at least just send Krebs? Because he's perfect for
Krebs
this
and
job.
Tuck to take over the regime in Venezuela. There you go.
What do we get for a
Krebs,
trade?
Tuck, and Eric Stahl will run the Venezuelan government and oil operations.
We'd still only get back Brian Rust. That's it. Somehow we would still get Brian Rust back from Venezuela.
We find out that's where who is that guy that retired on us? Patrick Berglund. That's where he's been this whole time.
Yeah.
We bring him back with us. Well, guys, for Shaun Murphy, who can catch on YouTube, for Chris Plumer, Ryan Mura, I'm Louis G. We will be back in a couple weeks. 7 games. Let's go 5-2. Let's make sure Louis doesn't get thrown out of the building on Thursday, and go Sabres.
Sorry, Black Betty.